Hello and welcome to HT's weekly talk show, The Interview, and our ongoing segment, Life and Times with HT. In this series, we capture moments in the life of people we have often read about but want to know more. Their stories of happiness, adversity, and milestones. What impacted them? What changed the course of life, if at all? What shaped them? And what were the, oh God, never again moments? We have with us Mohammed Maliki, Morocco's ambassador to India. With him, we go through the different phases of his life. He talks to us about his father. He tells us about a bomb blast in Karachi. He speaks about Shashi Tharoor and Ratan Tata. And he also tells us about selling ice cream. Ambassador Mohammed Maliki here with us in this edition of The Interview in our ongoing segment, Life and Times with HT. Welcome to the show, Ambassador Maliki, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much for coming.
Let me take you back to your childhood and your formative years. You were greatly influenced by your father. He was, as you told me, different from the normal and a visionary, quote unquote. Just explain that.
I think he was ahead of his time in the sense that he would apprehend things differently from the other people. He was broad-minded as well. And then he liked to enjoy life, to have fun. The perception from, for instance, my mother was completely different from the perception of him.
Just explain that to me. And what were the learnings from both your mother and your father?
It's quite difficult to reduce the learnings in such brief moments. But from the mom, like every mom in the world, with the protective side they have. For the fathers, they look maybe differently into the manhood of a boy, but also, I think from his own education and his own surroundings, he was capable of getting much more, I would say, impact without using the force sometimes, as we used all to have at a certain age. And on the spot, you would find that it was a little bit excessive that way. But then by looking in an introspection, you find that was probably the best way of doing it.
While on money, you've said while you enjoy money, but what you enjoy more is actually spending money.
I think this is something which is inherent to anyone. Because you always want to spend money. The problem is that, do you have the money to spend or no? And I think for that, maybe I am blessed. In fact, I'm a person who would see things differently from others in the sense that I wouldn't ask, do we have money to do this? For instance, as an ambassador, we have too many actions to do and then few of the decisions to take. So if I'm convinced by the action, I'll do it and then look for money for it. In the normal way, we would ask, do we have enough money to do it? I would say, no, we will do it and we'll work out the money.
And then
get it. So in the long run, I find myself getting and then doing more actions than what is required because you are not limited. You remove the space, you remove the borders, because finally, if you don't have money, it just limits you. But if you're able to do the action and then look for the money, it's okay. Even when I was young, I was also able to make, as a student's money. In fact, incidentally, I never got a single penny from my parents since my second year of the university.
Really?
Yes.
So how did you survive?
No, I was surviving because I used to go to France in summertime, at the same time enjoy the beaches, but also work by selling ice cream, by making ice cream itself also, and then by also working in the farms. So I would come back home with a good amount of money. I would even borrow for some people. And I used to have like a combination of asking Dad to give me, let's suppose at that time, 500 euros, the equivalent. Then when I came back, I would give him the double or triple of the price. So when summer would come and say, are you going out this year or no? So because I was an English student at the university, I had few friends who have become, or who were with me, who become guides, official, professional guides. When I was thinking that I may need money for a while, I would ask them to bring some tourists.
Tell me about selling ice cream.
Oh, when I used to go to the Saint-Tropez and then Saint-Maxime in the south of France. Not very far from where I used to live. There was a guy called Ferrando Ghi. He was Italian. He had a small farm for ice cream. I proposed to him, do you need a seller? He told me, yes, you look fit and then nice. So I had the chance to sell more than the others, not because I was clever than them, no, nor I was stronger than them, no. But because I come from the south of Morocco, I am used to the sun more than they do. So between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, all the sellers will just go and then get the shade because they are used for Europe. That's exactly where I would work and then would sell all the ice cream that is available and then even double it. And then I got good relations with all the children in the beaches. So they would ask their parents, we wait for Mohammed to come to give him. And I used to get a lot of tips. It happened also that I would lose a lot of money because I was moving in water, very hot. And then a very big tide would come and then we used to put money in the side and then all that one would go in the sand. The children get some, I get some. It was quite fun. Then one day I told him, why are you making ice cream by yourself? So he told me, because I don't find anybody to do it. I told him, I know how to do it. But meanwhile, 2 days ago, I took the book with the recipes and then changed the recipes. Instead of having like 5 kgs, I would just tell 1 kg. So I told him, probably I can help you. Say, do you? And then I tried to make it. Then I started to make ice cream. It used to give me more amount of money as well. So when I go back to Morocco, believe me, I used to have enough to live for not only 1 year, but for 2 or 3 years. Welcome to making money.
Welcome to making money. Tell me, what were the other such bright ideas which you had to make money?
I think friendship. I live it every day. I see it every day. Making friends is a treasure. People don't quantify it, but it can bring you a lot of money. Money doesn't bring friendships. But it caused me sometimes some problems in the buses.
Tell me.
Sometimes I would be in a bus moving somewhere and then a lady with her child or a baby. So I, from behind, probably put in this and I would start to laugh with him or with her, just for the time being. Then you feel that there is a connection between me and then the child. And the ladies, they would fear that I was probably looking to harm the child or get it or steal it. We never know.
Let me take you back to the time you wrote a book on your life. Who am I? Where do I come from? What is pain? These were some of the questions which drove you to write. Why these questions? How did they begin? And the process of writing. And you also said that you were pushed to write the book and it was not your personal decision. So just take me through that.
I will not disclose too many things because the book is not coming out yet, but very soon. It's a non-conformist autobiography.
And what is a non-conformist autobiography?
I believe I mentioned only few of the incidents that had an impact on me, so I was not relating my life. Either they were very good lessons, they were pitfalls, funs, but also the book is about my own philosophy of life.
So tell me about both the philosophy of life and the lessons learnt and unlearned.
Then I will not give a meaning to my book to be read, but
Give me a little bit
if I
and then
exactly
we
if I
will
tell you
read
all
the book.
about this, yes, all about this, maybe it will reduce the interest of reading the book.
But it will not kill the interest. It may increase the interest if you give me a few pointers.
All right, okay, right. I went through 3 incidents to 4, which changed completely my life. And in those incidents, I should have literally left my life. The first one was a burglary, and I will not disclose it because there is a complete chapter on it. The second one, I was caught in a bomb blasts. Then we survived it by the grace of God. The third one, an earthquake
In Karachi?
in Karachi, but the first one happened in 1991 in Quetta. So probably I will speak about only briefly one incident. Which one you prefer?
You speak briefly about all 3 of them. Just one paragraph to the chapter, and we'll read the chapter then. So let's begin with the burglary.
The burglary it happened in Cameroon. It was a moment where also Cameroon was undergoing serious economic difficulties. So the number of crimes was getting high. And the target was much more the politicians, the diplomats and politicians. It was exactly a few months before I went back home, only 2 months to get married with my lovely wife, Karima. So I had a good amount of money and then also a few of the gold things I bought. And then unfortunately all that went. But that's one, okay?
The bomb blast in
The
Karachi.
bomb blast happened, yes, in Karachi. I was with my wife and my daughter. And it happened in the time where the visits of the presidents of Bush, American presidents, to Islamabad. So I was in Karachi. And I believe that's because the perpetrators couldn't do it in Islamabad to make themselves heard, and then they did it in Karachi. So I was caught I was staying in the hotel where it happened nearby. So that's the second one.
In fact, what you told me was that is where you saw terrorism firsthand. What did it do to you as a person, as a human being, and as a career diplomat?
Mankind generally, when it comes to few things, we believe that it happens only to the others. That is, to have an accident, it will not happen to me, it happens only to the others. Caught into fire, it will not happen to me, it will happen to the others. But also, we are the others for the others. We tend to forget that as well. So when it comes to terrorism, you read about it, you see it sometimes in TVs, but then you always feel a little bit of detached. But when you're caught in the middle of it, then many important questions start to come out. The first one, most important, what did I do to merit it? What the others did to merit it? Because it's a blind. So your perception completely changes, I think. So when an incident happens like this, you survive it the first time, then the burglary you survive the second time, then you tell yourself that probably God has given me more time. How can I make good use of it? I will stop there because I would go into the detail. One more thing probably I can say is for the philosophy. I believe that there's one complete chapter on this, what I call the important and essential. So we tend to sometimes mix between the two.
Important over the essential.
Yes.
Okay.
We think that they are the same, but they are not.
Give me an example. Just illustrate this from one of the phases of your life.
I can give you an example right now. If you ask me what is essential, I would tell you my family is essential, their education, my daughters, their health, their well-being, our health altogether, my mother's health. All that, those are essential. Then the work become important. The career is important, but I am giving much more time to the importance of the essential, while being consciously aware that the importance shouldn't get more time than the essential. We still do it because we don't really have the choice not to do it.
And somewhere along life, did you start changing this and giving more importance to the essential than the important?
Trying to, not always succeeding, because it's a trap. A trap in the sense that when you grow, your needs and your family needs grow. You need to work harder. You need to build your career. So you find yourself all the time doing more time because you want to grow. Your needs grow as well. I try as much as possible as I could. And to be honest, I haven't been able to succeed. Still, my work takes more time for the family.
You had 3 desires which you vowed to fulfill, and one of them was to visit India. Tell me about why India and also about the other 2 desires.
I wouldn't say desires, I would say wishes.
Okay.
So the 3 wishes were to visit the Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China. I think the fascination of the story about Taj Mahal also had a lot to do with it.
What fascinated you? Which part of the Taj Mahal story fascinated you?
The love he had for the wife. And
I knew you would say that.
Yeah. And then to decide to build such in such magnitude, building just for her memories. Usually we think that women in Islam are a little bit left aside. This is one of the best examples for the importance of women. Then I'll take you to the University of Al-Qarawi in Fez, which is still the oldest functioning university in the world, which has delivered the first degree of medicine and veterinary. It was built by a lady. So the role of women in this Muslim society. I'm not talking about those who want to deny these rights, because there are negationists, if I can say, those people who are negativists. But the role of it has been always at the front and then very important. India has always this fascination of the movies. We used to call them in Morocco the history and geography movies.
What does that mean?
A very good story and then in a very good scenery. So the story was with us, the love story always that ends. And then, of course, usually the sceneries in Kashmir or elsewhere, where you can see very nice pieces of God's creation. The importance is projected very good image of India outside. It's kind of soft power. We used to have, and I still have in Morocco, some movie theaters which don't screen anything else except Indian movies. So the Indian culture has been part of us. So the first one was in 1992. The second one was in 2008.
The Great Wall of China was?
In 2008. But the third wish was a strange one, is the Congo River. I don't know why, but because I used to like discipline of history and geography while we were in the primary and secondary school. So that river had all the superlatives you could imagine, with the amount of water that is carried, the speed of the water, and then the amount of animals that live inside. Because I come from the southeast of Morocco, it is mostly at the gate of the deserts. So water has a very special meaning. We even glorify it. And I would tell myself, if we had this river passing by, we would have never any problems with the drought throughout our life. So I was the product of my environment, and that products gave me this kind of, I would say, not a mirage, but an image which makes you at least think for a long time. I was able to do it in 1994. Somehow I am blessed that I could fulfill the wishes that I had during the primary and secondary school.
Which were the later wishes which came after these three were fulfilled, and which perhaps yet have remained unfulfilled?
Unfulfilled, it's quite difficult because I am a content person by nature. So when I got to the ministry, my simple wishes were to get a lovely wife, small house, cozy car. Then I find myself fulfilling all these three in a very small time of my life. Then, of course, your priorities change again. Then you say, why can't I have then children? Then why can't I have more money or a bigger house? And then we find ourselves, in fact, into a vicious circle where it never stops.
You spoke about Bollywood. You spoke about the history and geography.
Yes.
How much familiarity do you have with Bollywood, Hindi films, the actors? How much do you know? What are the names you can reel out, if at all? And do you really watch Hindi cinema?
I do. There are few good movies. Two good movies, I could say, is Padman, then Toilet. They help you understand the society of India. Then I think Morocco celebrated the 100 years of Bollywood cinema, gave some decoration to Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan.
The first time you came to India was in 1992. A lot has changed since then. Let's talk about India then and now. The good and the bad. Bad may be a strong word to use in my conversation with a diplomat. So let me say the good and not so good.
At that time, to be honest, I stayed for hardly 1 week. I came focused on an idea to go to Taj Mahal, but I stayed in Delhi. One of the things which has completely changed is the amount of traffic. But I found a fascination in the contentment of people, even at the time. Despite the visible poverty, or if you go to temples, there was a mount of gold, but nobody would touch. Then I was also fascinated by the grandeur of the buildings, Red Fort at the time, the Jama Masjid in Old Delhi, and then in comparison with the new city. I would say that the friendliness remained the same.
So what are the negatives? Maybe, as I said, the not so good.
Not so good. Maybe cleanness in some places. Infrastructure, which takes a lot of time. So sometimes some of the projects take much more time than history. For me, that's one of the things which we could address very easily.
So tell me, experiencing India as a tourist and working here as an ambassador, the different perspectives.
Freedom, first thing. I was a dots, like any dots at the time, moving without any formalities. As an ambassador, my name doesn't weigh much.
Why do you say that?
Because people don't care. I am the ambassador. It's no longer I am Maliki. So that distinction puts a little bit more weight on you, because
Also gives you a privilege.
it does. And then I'm happy to use it in most of the places, but still you become more precautious. Sometimes you become more alert about things because you represent, even my title is the ambassador of His Majesty, the King of Morocco. So that's thing by itself obliges you to keep a certain level. There is the elegance that should come out. So the institution of the ambassadorship is not a small thing. People see only the glitter inside, but we are under stress all the time. I say jokingly, we sell words, and then when we fail to sell words, then we should cease to exist.
Tell me, while on India and Morocco, you said it is a relationship that has evolved. At the bilateral level, where do you see this relationship going and what is the way forward?
I can say with confidence that we have strategic relations. From our side, we contribute greatly to the food security of India, an important element because of the fertilizers. We are the largest exporter worldwide of fertilizer and phosphates. From the other side as well, we see India as strategic partner because we are building with them some defense industry. In fact, the first ever Indian industry of defense outside India exists in Morocco. It will be operational very soon. I believe that's the food security and then health security, sovereignty as well, are two areas where we can work very closely. So if you ask me in a very strict sense, I would say that our relations are built on 3 or 4 pillars. Very briefly on human relations, I think we're too much connected, much more than people think. Then there is the economic and the trade, which is quite developed. Then we cooperate in sensitive issues, counterterrorism, cybersecurity, maritime security.
Which are the areas which need to be strengthened? And are there any roadblocks?
No blocks. There are no blocks. I think there is a very strong will from both sides. Sometimes administration takes a little bit more time. I think we can do quite well in defense. We are building a very strong national industry. And India, with the Make in India, is also expanding. So being one of the finest, if not the best platform in India, in Africa, probably India can also profit from that platform. So defense would be one of the good things. The pharmaceutical would be another good thing, which you can explore. Maritime transport and the logistics can be also a very good one. Textile can be a good one. And then I can go on and on.
You said life as a diplomat is tough. How often have you got into trouble? And I'm not saying this in the India context. I'm saying generally.
I think I have never got into trouble, I believe. I had difficult moments, different times, but I used also my learnings from the diplomacy to negotiate few things. It helped me quite a lot in the Cameroon burglary.
How did it help you?
I was negotiating with the people who came. Something very strange which I keep for you to read.
All right. I can't push you further.
No, exactly. So I don't think there has been any mistakes. There have been shortcomings, but it's different. You see, our mistakes, if they happen, they are very serious because they involve a complete country. Any small mistake could have very serious consequences. Touch wood, I hadn't had very serious setbacks so far.
Touch wood.
Touch wood.
2 Indians, you said, have influenced you deeply. Ratan Tata, who you say was a demigod, and Shashi Tharoor. So tell me about both.
Later, Tata was a good friend of mine. I was able to build very strong relations, not based on business at all, based on human values, how you should help the others, how you should be close to the others, how good can you bring to the others. Of course, the scale is so much different. I was lucky in the sense that he used to call me what's your friend. Shashi Tharoor, I met him through my previous former Minister of Foreign Affairs. I told him, well, I'm organizing a dinner. Do you have somebody in mind? He told me, you invite my friend Tharoor, Shashi Tharoor. And then I think gave you 1 or 2 names. Then you decide whatever. That was a very funny story because at the day it was Tuesday. We didn't know that it was quite difficult to invite people on Tuesday because they have so many decision restrictions. So we found ourselves in the table of 8 people, having literally 6 or 7 menus. Between somebody without garlic, somebody without carrots, somebody without cheese, some completes vegan. Then the servants would put this, no, it's not for you, it's for the other one, I'm sorry. And it's become funny. But I like him for the literary side he has, for his way of speaking, for his analysis, for his amazing ability to write. And then, of course, for his English, I think he must have invented words in English. I'm meeting him very soon.
You know, you're a man of various interests and you describe yourself as someone who's self-learnt. What are the lessons learnt and unlearnt? And, oh my God, the never again moments?
Well, this is a very surprising question because self-learned man, and yes, because in our job there are a few things which you read, but there are a few things in which you go through them. Never again, we know that in our job there is no never again, because you would go exactly where you don't want to go, and then probably you would never go where you want to go. And it happens very often for us. The idea is how to make the best of what's, as I said before, of what we have, and then how to turn challenges into opportunities. I think that is what we are equipped for as diplomats, is to make these distinctions. So I personally don't see really that much negative things in my job.
Before I let you go, let me end this on one of your quotes. I never sleep till 2 a.m. I only go to bed at 11 when I'm sick. Tell me about this habit.
It has come since my graduate and postgraduate studies. The time of calmness where people are in bed gives a little bit of depth of the night, where you can think, where there is no disturbance. I would mostly 1 o'clock instead of 2.
I'm going to reveal one of your hidden talents of playing the piano. Tell me about that, and then I will sign off on a musical note requesting you to play something for our viewers.
I wouldn't say it's a talent because it's a hobby anybody can have a hobby, and I play very small, minimal things for myself. But to tell you the truth, I haven't touched it for months and months.
So I think you should make a beginning now.